Hey guys, my name is Michael and I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to Project Half the Man. What is Project Half the Man? Well, I am on a weight loss journey to lose 1/2 of my total body weight. Now this journey started many years ago, but at my very heaviest, I weighed nearly 700 pounds, 697 pounds to be exact. So technically, this is project a little more than half the man because my goal weight is to get down to 275. With that, I would like to welcome each and every one of you on this journey with me. I have been dieting now again, off and on, all my life, as I'm sure many people that have had the struggle with obesity and morbid obesity and super morbid obesity have. So I figured it would be a good idea and a good time to document someone who has a lot of weight to lose while in the process of losing it. There are some times when you find somebody who's done an amazing job of losing weight, but it tends to be an afterthought as far as the documentation of it. It's usually after they've already finished. And sometimes that's because it's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of times during a weight loss journey that you want to quit and that you're not at your best and that you go through ups and downs and you cheat on your diet and you don't go to the gym and you do a lot of things that you're not supposed to be doing. So there is a lot of pressure in doing that and in focusing on your recovery from food addiction or from just overeating. That needs to take precedent. So deciding to start something like a YouTube channel could hinder you, and it could cause you a lot more stress than you're already piling onto your plate, so to speak. So again, Project Half the Man, I am on a journey to lose 1/2 of my body weight, starting from where I was this last go around at my heaviest, which was about 555 pounds. Again, as I said, at my heaviest, I weighed nearly 700 pounds, 697 pounds. That was back in November of 2008 when I decided to have a gastric bypass surgery because I thought that was going to be the final solution to my weight problem. I had bought into the hype that a gastric bypass was the obese person's answer to everything. Whether or not they wanted to work a diet or not, this was going to restrict how much you were going to eat, and no matter what we did, we couldn't screw it up. Well, that's a bunch of BS because you absolutely can screw up a gastric band or a gastric bypass or a laparoscopic banding or a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass where they completely rework your inner workings. But you can absolutely do it, and I am a testament to that. First 2 years I was on that, not on it, but the first 2 years I was living with it were amazing. I lost 100 pounds doing nothing just because I couldn't eat. I was recovering from surgery. I mean, if anyone ever was wondering or thinking about a gastric bypass, nowadays it's a little bit easier on your system because they do it laparoscopically, so they don't have to do incisions. But I have a scar that goes from my sternum to my belly button, where they cut open my abdominals. And if you've never had that experience, I'm here to tell you that it is not fun. You don't realize how everything you do in your life is centered by your core. And coughing, sneezing, just talking, stretching, laying down, getting up, anything like that will just rip you apart if you've been cut open from your abdominals. So I think it's important for people to realize that there is never, and nor will there ever be, a quick way or a unmotivational way or an undisciplined way to lose weight, especially a significant amount of weight. If you have, 10 or 15 vanity pounds, you've probably already clicked off the channel by now, or you're just watching because you wanted to see, somebody talk about weighing nearly 700 pounds, which Hey guys, future me here. I just wanted to quickly apologize for the audio in the video. I realized as I'm editing it that the air conditioner kept kicking on and off, and I did not realize that. It was something that I completely overlooked. I admit that I'm new to this, so I haven't got all my factors checked off that I need to make sure that I'm properly doing a video correctly. So, once again, I apologize for the audio and the air conditioner kicking on and off. I live in Florida, so the air conditioning is an imperative life support system here. I will promise that I will do better about making sure that things like that do not distract in the future. All right, take care. Back to the video. That's cool. I don't mind talking about it. I've learned to embrace that. If I can educate people with it, then I'm all for it. I don't like talking about my weight when it's just somebody walking up to me in the street going, "Damn, you're a big guy, how much do you weigh?" Raise your hand if you've heard that a million times. Focusing on a weight loss journey, like I have been. I've been on and off diets my entire life, and I have been focusing on restriction my entire life. I cannot remember a time in my life when I have not had either a feast or famine approach to food. I've either stuffed my face and ate whatever I wanted to at any time, in any volume that I wanted, and gained weight like a balloon blowing up, or I've been on a diet, and usually a diet that's so strict that I'm starving. I'm not starving myself, because starvation, there are people that are legitimately starving in the world. So forcing myself to be as hungry as possible, for lack of a better word. It's crazy the amount of yo-yo dieting that I've done in my life. I say this all the time. I've probably lost the same 100 pounds about 15 times, maybe 20 times. I've lost the same 50 pounds probably 250 times, where I will lose weight and then gain it back, and then lose weight and gain it weight. And for me, I mean, I've been blessed. I'm 6'5", and like I said, at my heaviest I was 697, but for the most part, that was an extreme heaviness, or heaviest. For the most part, 550 has been the highest I've gotten again. I believe it was actually 555 or 554 is the highest I've gotten again before I really start to worry about losing and getting back on some kind of program, because that's when it starts to really affect my body, and I start to really think about the effect that it's having on me. It prohibits me from doing things, from being mobile, and from experiencing life, and that's where you start getting into a situation where you wind up just being bedridden, or stuck inside in a chair, watching TV. So whenever I've gotten to a point where I've gotten that heavy again, I always hit the brakes on it and say, okay, it's time to start losing weight. And I'll go on a diet and I'll lose 50 pounds in 2 months, or if I stick on it longer, I'll lose 100 pounds, in 6 months. And I'll do well. And unfortunately, what happens is that I start to feel good, and I start to feel comfortable, and I start to get the feeling that, oh, you're where you're at. You're where you've reached a level of comfort that you want to be at, which you were trying to avoid. So then I fall off the wagon, so to speak, and start doing the same thing over again, and the cycle repeats and endlessly. Having that much, being a big guy, I'm 6'5". Well, now I'm probably 6'4", 6'3.5", because I've probably shrunk from all the years of compacting my spine. But being a big and tall guy, I've always had a little bit more of the luxury, because I can carry my weight well, as far as it doesn't look like I'm that as big as I am. But if I was 6 inches shorter, if I was 5'10" or 5'11", I would probably, I say this all the time, I would probably have been one of those people, especially in 1997, I would have been one of those people that you had to cut out of the house to have an emergency surgery someplace, or if something happened. That would have been me if I was 6 inches shorter, just because it wouldn't have been, just the sheer the dimensions and dynamic of it. The fact that I'm an extra 6 inches taller than somebody that has gone through that terrible experience was kind of a blessing for me. But the same token, that blessing also made me not realize, how big I was and how much I was weighing. So it kind of sneaks up on you, and it snuck up on me. I can lose 50 pounds and people think, oh, your face gets a little thinner, and you have you losing weight? It's like, God damn, I just lost 50 pounds. But for somebody my size, 50 pounds is only about, 10% of my body weight. So imagine somebody who weighed, 250 pounds losing 25 pounds. It's the same percentage-wise. So you'd have a little bit of change in your body, but you'd know it a lot more. If somebody 250 lost 25 pounds, you would know it just by looking at them that they lost 25 pounds. I lose 25 pounds and people just think I didn't eat last night. So there's a lot of situations where I put myself in positions to succeed, and because of that success, I've failed. And if you're not sure what that means, being complacent and getting comfortable with the amount of weight that you've lost, it's a great feeling to get to that point. It's a great feeling when you can go buy clothes at not a big and tall place, and it's a great feeling when you have everyone telling you that you look good, and that they can tell that you've lost weight. Because for somebody, as I said, for my size, it takes a significant amount of weight before you really show outwardly that you've lost weight. I mean, like I said, people will say, oh, your face is thinner, or I lose weight in my shoulders and upper body first, and then I kind of pare out, so I get that bell curve, and then my hips and my waist are the last things that I lose weight for. But people notice it like almost immediately in my face and my shoulders. My collarbone starts to stick out a little bit, and my traps will pop out a little bit. But it gets to that point when you really start to notice, and somebody really starts to notice you that you've lost a bunch of weight. It's a good feeling, and to somebody who is more rational, you would think, oh, that's motivation to keep losing weight, especially if you realize you still have 125 pounds to go that you want to lose to get to a goal weight. But instead, somebody who has an issue with food like I do, you get successful and you get all those compliments, and you think, oh, I made it. This is where I want to be. So you wind up slipping off. You're not as diligent with the things that you don't weigh all your food as much as you did, or you have a couple extra spoonfuls of this or a couple extra spoonfuls of that, or you go out with friends and you have instead of a salad you have pizza, or instead of protein-rich protein-based foods you have carb and fat-based foods, things like that. They creep up on you. And that's all part of the success. You think to yourself, oh, I've achieved the beginnings of the physique that I would like, that I'll be comfortable with. And you turn around and you sabotage yourself. So it's kind of crazy that success leads to your ultimate failure. At least in my case, it does. So getting back to Project Half the Man. I started this is 2020. Tomorrow is August 1st. I started, like so many people, 2020 with the best of intentions, and I followed through them. I think the January 1st was a Wednesday this year. So I told myself, hell no, I'm not starting a diet on a Wednesday on football bowl season and all that. I'm going to wait until Monday. So I started my diet, I think it was the 4th or 5th of January, whatever that Monday was. And I weighed 555 pounds when I started. And as of today, which is July 31st, when I weighed myself, I weighed 460 pounds. So I've lost 95 pounds in 6 months. And that's through a global epidemic that's kept everybody in the house and on lockdown. So everyone talks about the COVID-19 gaining weight. I managed to somehow lose weight. But in all honesty, it made it easier because I wasn't going out and being tempted by social situations. I wasn't going out to dinner with my friends, or I wasn't driving around past fast food places. I was able to just go have a food delivery made, and that's what I had. And the stuff, I just made sure that I didn't order garbage in the beginning when I got my delivery, and that way I didn't have garbage in the house. So if I was going to overeat, I was going to overeat on the stuff that I was already dieting with. So it's like nobody's ever gained 20 pounds by saying, oh crap, I just had to eat a bunch of chicken breast. So that's the situation. And how I've been doing that is I started doing a keto diet. I'm a big proponent of a ketogenic diet, especially for somebody who's massively overweight, morbidly obese, or super morbidly obese. Because there's just not enough physical activity that you're able to do right off the bat. At 555 pounds, just walking around is a workout for me. And I have friends that are like, oh, walk around your apartment complex, walk your dog, or do this. And I'm like, I'm lucky if I walk my ass to the bathroom and back without getting winded or sweating. So walking around, it's not going to do me any good to walk around, 20 feet outside in 98-degree Florida weather and keel over and die. A ketogenic diet for somebody who's sedentary, who has a lot of fat in their body already, and they're putting themselves in ketosis, I think is a very sound approach. And let's face it, restriction for most of us who suffer with the problems of obesity, restriction is easier than moderation. Think about that for a second. Restriction is easier than moderation. If we were able to eat sensibly and have moderate amounts of the things that we like, we wouldn't be in the physical situation and position that we're in. So for a lot of us, myself included, and when I say a lot of us, I'm always including myself in that because I'm living through it right now, and I'm going through it, and I've been through it. Restricting what we have and saying we can't have that is a lot easier for us to process in our minds and to resist the temptation than saying, oh, I'm just going to have a little bit of something. I would rather, as much as I love pasta and carbohydrates and bread, I'd rather say I can't have those at all than say I can only have a half a cup of pasta or a half a cup of rice or one slice of bread. Who does that? I've never been able to wrap my brain around how someone can just have one breadstick at Olive Garden. Restriction over moderation for a lot of us works better. It's an easier system to stick with. So putting all of that information out there and saying I can have this, I can't have that, I can do this, I can't do that with a ketogenic diet, and just saying I'm just going to omit flour, sugar, processed carbohydrates. And I did a kind of a very lackadaisical version of keto. I would eat vegetables. If I was getting carbs from the vegetables, I didn't consider it to be that bad, especially like leafy green vegetables or broccoli or cauliflower, things like that. My treat when I was going through the first 3 or 4 or 5 months of this diet, of the keto diet, I would eat baby carrots, and I know those are one of the worst vegetables to have because they're so sweet and have sugar. But that to me was a sufficient trade-off. Everyone has a line in the sand that they draw, and for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and if it means that I don't lose that extra pound a week because I'm able to every night when I'm doing whatever, snack on some baby carrots and hummus, okay, I'll sacrifice 5 pounds a week for 4 pounds a week and some guilty pleasure. And I think that's a trade-off that a lot of people aren't willing to make or don't think they can make. It's not that they're not willing to, they don't think they can. If you know about dieting and about the science of dieting, then you know that calories in, calories out is a long believed standard. There are people, and I'm one of them, that believe that certain types of foods are better calorically, even though they might have higher calorie content, they're better for you. Technically, a gram of carbohydrates and a gram of protein are both 4 calories, and a gram of fat is 9 calories. So in my eyes and in my opinion, a gram of protein isn't the same as a gram of carbohydrate. It's not the same to me. I think your body processes the protein differently and utilizes it differently than it does the carbohydrates and the sugars. That's the whole. I am in no way a medical professional, so any advice or anything that I say regarding diets or anything like that is strictly my own personal experience and what I have done for myself and what works for me. I feel like I think it's a necessity for me to have to say that, just so that nobody goes out and does anything that I'm saying that I did and accidentally hurts themselves or gets into a situation that medically they're not prepared for. So that is what Project Half the Man is. It is a journey of my weight loss goals to lose 1/2 of my body weight, to get down to about 275 pounds. Years ago, I had one of those water displacement body fat tests, and the person who was in charge of it said that based on a few factors that they thought anywhere between 265, 275 was probably close to my ideal weight. I had that back when I was about 375 pounds, and I think I was at like 22% or 23% body fat. So based on that and a few other calculations that I don't know the math for, they factored somewhere around, within 10 pounds, 275, 265, 260, 275, somewhere there. So that is what I am aiming for. Plus, Project Half the Man, I started at 550, so 275 sounds great. Maybe that's why I did it that way. I don't know. Maybe when I got to 550, I said, half my weight is 275. That's where I should be. I should start doing that. I'm sure somewhere in my psyche that's exactly what happened. Anyway, if you have any questions, if you'd like to know anything about my journey, what I'm doing, what my plans are as far as my diet, what I'm eating, I'll be putting a lot of that on the channel so that you can follow along with me and figure out exactly what kind of stuff I'm eating and how seriously I am taking what I prepare. Right now, I'll tell you this, right now, I'm not counting any calories, I'm not measuring anything, I eat when I'm hungry. So that is the ketogenic portion of the year. However, on July 1st, which was just 31 days ago, I transitioned from a traditional ketogenic diet to a carnivore diet. And I'm liking it a lot. It's something different. It's not the same old, same old. I mean, yes, I eat the same things, a lot of the same things. I just don't have all the vegetables that I was having. I do miss salad because when I'm dieting, I like to eat a lot of salads just because it fills me up. It gives me some volume and it helps me to feel more satiated. But with the carnivore diet, it's just meat. It's meat, eggs, butter. I haven't even had cheese. And some people, depending on who you ask, cheese is okay. The only thing that I have allowed myself, my line in the sand for this, has been I've allowed myself some tea, and I've allowed myself coffee. I usually have 1 big cup of coffee a day when I wake up because it helps me with my intermittent fasting. I don't consider coffee a break in my fast. So when I get up in the morning or afternoon, depending on what time I get up, I will have a big cup of coffee, and that will hold me over at least 2 or 3 more hours. Just having that hot liquid in my stomach will satiate me to the point where I don't need to eat right away. So I try to intermittent fast also. That's another big thing that people are talking about nowadays. and I think there's a lot of merit to it. I'm not exactly sure what the science is. I know there's a lot smarter people than me on the topic that know all kinds of things that your body does at certain hours. I've seen a lot of different things, but I just like the idea of having a food window, a feeding window, and that being as little as possible, because I'm not eating a lot of food. I may be eating, if I broke it down and actually went back and looked at it, and like I said, I haven't been tracking anything, I've probably been under 1,500 calories a day for the last month, and probably closer to 1,200, because I'm just eating meat. Eggs are a big portion of my diet, and because I'm not rich, I'm not even having a lot of steak. It's mostly chicken, pork chops, eggs, and ground beef, and ground turkey. It's the affordable aisle of the butcher. So carnivore diet can be done cheaply. I think the beginning of the month I went and spent $127 at Sam's Club. And I still have in my freezer, I still have 5 pounds of chicken, 6.5 or 7 pounds of pork chops, 3 pounds of ground turkey, and 1 package of 5 sausage links, Italian sausage links. So I've done a pretty good job in a month of probably, I think the pork chops were $8, the chicken was $9. So I've probably done a month of keto on $90, $85, $90, maybe at most $95. And that's because I went back and bought another 3 packages of eggs. I love eggs. I love to hard boil them, as you could tell from my video on the channel. And I love to just have them as a quick add-in to the ground meat, things like that. It just gives me a little more volume, it gives me a little fat, it gives me some good vitamins that I need. I think eggs are a really good protein source, and they're cheap, so you could get away with only having certain types of meats once in a while and then offset that with eating more eggs. 18 eggs cost me $3. That is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a carnivore diet. I'm really enjoying it. I think as of 1 month in, I've lost, I think, 26 pounds is when I weighed myself. I'm trying to remember where I started when I started on the diet. I think 26 pounds in less than a month, because it hasn't even been a full month yet. It'll be a couple more days for my weigh-in. Monday is my weigh-in, and today is Friday. So I'll probably be about fairly close to 30 pounds, maybe about 27, 28 pounds in a month. So 7 pounds a week. Not exercising. I haven't got there yet with the lockdown and all the gyms. I don't feel comfortable going to a gym yet, so I haven't been. This is strictly diet based right now, and I know that once I start working out, because I actually enjoy working out and lifting weights, I know that once I do that, I'll be burning another 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. And if you translate that, 3,500 calories is a pound. So 7 times 2 is 14, so 14,000 calories a week burned. That's roughly, another 3.5 pounds. So, all right, I'm gonna go. My battery's flashing. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please leave any comments you want to know about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.